which said, you are lacking in one thing. Go, sell what you have, and give to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven. Then come, follow me. A pro-life lawyer friend of mine, John Williamson, gave a rousing talk at a recent fundraiser for Good Counsel Home for Women a couple of weeks ago. And his rallying cry was, up your game. The Trump man's ticket for president and vice president is taking the battle against abortion to a new level. They are upping their game. Hear me out on this, okay? I know they are not 100% pro-life, but they upped their game in promising help to making alternatives to abortion available to women. I pray this promise will be fulfilled. Most recently, the news is Trump's consideration of defunding Planned Parenthood. He did this at the end of his first term, but of course it was reinstated immediately by the Biden administration. He also intends to end Mexico City policy, permitting U.S. funds going for abortions in foreign countries. And sadly, we have to admit, the Republican platform is not an exact replica of what it was in Trump's first term in the presidency. But I plan to vote for him. But even if he wins, the pro-life battle will not be over. So we need to up our game. It's not over until it's over. Up your game. That's the message of the gospel today. The Son of Man did not come to be served or to serve. So even if you have already contributed, even if you have already volunteered, even if you have already prayed, dig down, give again, volunteer again, pray again. Another choice, the right choice, the choice to keep and raise and love the babies is what is at stake. We cannot give up. I repeat what I have said often before. You probably heard me say this. It's the laity. You, the Catholic laity, that are saving the world today. It's happened before in the church too. The laity were the ones who were loyal. It is the Catholic laity that is saving the church amidst the Pope's silly synodality proceedings. Pro-life was started by laity and continues through laity, and it is the Catholic Church and its teachings which will save the world. Sadly, the bishops are not upping their game. They remain silent. They have declared that the hierarchy is in charge of the church, and the laity are in charge of the world. There are all other possible explanations for their silence. You probably can guess a few of them. However, the role of a bishop is to teach, govern, and sanctify. Teaching doesn't happen by silence. In fact, their silence ends up teaching the opposite. That's what happened when they shut the churches down during the COVID post-pandemic. The message was, Mass and sacraments are not essential. So their silence has created the problem of part of the problem of people not coming to church as often as they did before, or no. Pope Francis just issued a statement saying, in effect, that voting for the lesser of two evils in our national election should include voting for the Democratic ticket. The Pope is assassinating our faith and encouraging our U.S. citizens to assassinate our country. The Pope called both abortion and the prevention of migration equally mortal sins. Let's take a look at that assertion. According to ICE figures, of the 663,000 criminals having crossed the southern border, 13,000 of them are wanted for murder. 16,000 of them are wanted for sexual assault. 1,900 more are facing murder charges. And this does not include gun rapes. On the other hand, 63 million babies have been killed since 1973 in our country. God only knows how many have been killed in the whole world. So we ask, which is the preeminent evil, Your Holiness? Don't say, who am I to judge? You cannot be neutral. It's your job to judge. The current Democratic government, which has caused the problem with open borders, is spending billions on illegal migrants and foreign wars, but doesn't seem to have enough money to help the victims at home on the Hurricane Helene. And 1 Timothy chapter 5 verse 4 says, charity begins at home. The citizens of the U.S. should be their first obligation. So, it is not just Pope Francis that is off his game. Another situation, the Lepanto Institute, headed by Michael Hutchin, has just revealed a study of Catholic organizations who are off their game too. The organizations, 98% of the employees of Catholic relief services donate their money to democratic organizations. The former CEO of the Catholic relief services said to someone, who probably wasn't supposed to repeat it, that he would never knowingly employ a Republican. With friends like that, no. It's one flew over the cuckoo's nest. The inmates are running asylum. Here's a statement from this, another statement from this Lepanto report. Examining the political contributions of the employees belonging to these organizations, I'll name some of them further down, reveals that all but the Knights of Columbus are completely dominated by hard left employees. And further, what we find in the Senate data is that the vast number of employees working for various Catholic charitable organizations are overwhelmingly Democratic. Here are some more organizations not to contribute to. Jesuit Refugee Service supports abortion organizations, no surprise there. Mercy Corps donates to organizations supporting birth control. Peter's Pence from the Vatican donates to organizations supporting LGBT ideology. Praise to the Sacred Heart, Salesian Missions, Save the Children, St. Joseph Indian School, St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, the Salvation Army, Unbound, UNICEF, and the YWCA all support teachings contrary to our Catholic faith. So don't up your game with these. In fact, get out of the game. Do not donate to these. Another finding of this report was that many professional Catholics owning large businesses are significant donors to democratic organizations. As far as immigration goes, border control chief said, Vice President Harris has ignored the border problems she created over 3 years ago. And she goes down there for 20 minutes for a photo op and decides to repeat some of the things the NPBC has said before. But again, where was she? Where has she been the last 3.5 years? And so we ask, who is she serving? And who is being served? St. Paul recognized this treachery in his own day. He writes, "For many, as I have often told you, and now tell you in tears, conduct themselves as enemies of the cross of Christ." The inmates are running the asylum. Christopher Bell is the husband of Joan Andrews Bell, the pro-lifer who is in prison for, I believe, 2 years in Philadelphia, sitting in front of the door of an abortion center. I met Christopher Bell a few weeks ago, with great privilege, at the Good Counsel Home for Women's Gala fundraiser I mentioned in the beginning. He writes in a recent article in Crisis magazine, "Joan and I knew from before exchanging wedding rings that trying to do everything moral to stop abortion would entail sacrifice. Some demons are only cast out with much prayer and fasting. We must pick up our cross if that is what he's asking us to do. So like the Bells, we all must up our game with prayer, more fasting, more cash In visiting his wife in jail last month, Joan said to her husband Chris about her imprisonment. She was rather content there. She said, "What little sacrifice this is. They aren't torturing us. We get to eat, get medicines. In Germany, Nazis would shoot you and your whole family if you were hiding a Jewish person." However, another pro-life prisoner is being tortured in a way which is a violation of international law. And her name is Heather Idoni. Recently, she has been moved around to 3 different federal prisons. And on the way, she has been chained around the waist to the point where she can hardly breathe. And one of these times, she was warned by the marshal transporting her that if she complained, he would tighten the chain even more. Idoni has diabetes and had suffered a stroke after being in solitary confinement. And in solitary confinement, the lights were left on day and night for 22 days. She has been denied both diabetes medication and heart medications. These are all violations of international law. Chris Smith from New Jersey has tried to intercede for her. In the last couple of weeks, I went around my own community where I live, distributing flyers which on one side outline the anti-child, anti-life policies of Kamala Harris. On the other side of this flyer was statistics on the criminals allowed in our country, which I just reviewed for you. The information is from Mike McConnell's Pro-Life Coalition. One of my neighbors saw me putting these flyers on the car windshields. I had never met her, she wasn't familiar, I didn't know where she even lived. And she shouted out, "We're not allowed to solicit around here." I didn't think soliciting was the real problem. So I asked her very politely, "Don't you want to save the babies?" No reply. I asked her 2 more times. She would not reply. What kind of country have we become when we have barbarians for our neighbors? The Democrats were able to spend $450 million in ads promoting abortion. The pro-lifers were able to spend only $10 million to promote the sanctity of life of the unborn. So we need to up our game. told the young man in the gospel who asked, "What more must I do?" "Go, sell what you have," he told the young man, "and give to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven. Then come, follow me." In other words, up your game. A French poet said this sad truth: tyranny is always better organized than freedom. And so we need to up our game in organization. If you are not saying your rosary every day to protect your babies, you are not even in the game. Rosary, prayer, fasting, cash. Get in the game. If you are already in the game, up your game. If you are not planning to vote because you don't like either candidate, you are ignoring your Christian duty to be a good citizen. All candidates are imperfect. Nobody is perfect. Your vote is not, therefore, to canonize the either candidate. Okay? Your vote is to lessen abortion. Don't sit at home on election day. Up your game. Pray, fast, contribute. Vote, vote, vote. We are way past, at this point in our country, in this age, what happened, way past what happened in the Nazi concentration camps, where only 12 million were killed. We're catching up to that, plus we're catching up to Stalin and Mao Zedong. 63 million babies killed since 1973. So we need to up